NBA draft is just 8 hours away. We're going to make our final 2025 NBA mock draft. It's going to be a predictive mock draft. This is what I think is going to happen tonight. Make sure to like, subscribe, go into the description, submit your video ideas, and let's start off with Cooper Flagg, the first overall pick to the Dallas Mavericks. No surprise there. At 2, also no surprise, it's going to be Dylan Harper to the San Antonio Spurs. 1 and 2 are going to be locked in. They were locked in since the lottery ended. At 3, though, we have the Sixers. I think the Sixers either trade this pick or they draft VJ Edgecombe with it. Edgecombe reportedly not a great workout with Philadelphia, but I'm not going to do any trades in this mock draft specifically because it's so hard to predict trades. But I would not be surprised if maybe a team like Washington trades up to try to get Ace Bailey, maybe the Brooklyn Nets. There are a couple teams I could see trade up to try to get Ace Bailey, but I'm going to go VJ Edgecombe. It's looking like that is going to be the most likely pick if Philly stays at 3. At 4, we have Charlotte. Charlotte barely had any of the top prospects come to work out for them. Trey Johnson didn't come to work out. Obviously, Ace Bailey, he didn't work out with anybody. So for that reason, I'm going to go Con Knipple. He will fit really well between LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. He had a great workout with the Charlotte Hornets. Just makes the most sense for right now. I like his fit between LaMelo and Brandon Miller probably better than Ace Bailey's or Trey Johnson just because of what he could do off the ball instead of having to have the ball in his hands to produce at a highest level. At 5, it's going to be the Utah Jazz. The Jazz are interesting. I'm between 2 guys here, Trey Johnson and Jeremiah Fears. I guess Ace Bailey too. Jeremiah Fears is really heavily connected to the Utah Jazz. He had a great workout. This is a guy that the Jazz have been apparently targeting most of the draft cycle. I'm going to go against the grain though. I'm going to go Trey Johnson for the Utah Jazz. I really like what Isaiah Collier did for them last year at that point guard position. And if Jeremiah Fears gets drafted, he's going to take some reps away from that. I think Trey Johnson is the most pure scorer in this draft class. He had a solid workout with the Utah Jazz. And I think at 5, it makes the most sense to take a wing with as highest potential and scoring upside as Trey Johnson, my favorite player in this draft class, my 3rd overall prospect. At 6, we have the Washington Wizards. This is going to be Ace Bailey for me. This is going to be where he falls. Ace Bailey, we know how he has skipped workouts or declined workouts, canceled workouts. Same thing with meetings. He has canceled meetings, declined meetings with all these top 8 NBA teams in the draft. So he's going to fall a little bit, most likely. I doubt he goes 3 unless there's a trade up. So 6, I think, is going to be the spot where he falls. We know what he is as a player. He has great size. He has insane scoring upside, and he can be an all-star scorer one day. Or he can't. I mean, I think there's definitely a wide range in what he can be in the league. At 7, we have the Pelicans. The Pelicans are traded for Jordan Poole. Is that necessarily taking away the option of drafting a guard like a Jeremiah Fears or Kasper Siakochonis? No, I think they could for sure still take him. I mean, they don't have CJ anymore. DeJounte Murray is going to be, he has a torn Achilles. He's not playing until February, March, and if the Pelicans are bad by then, maybe he doesn't even play. Other than that, the guard position, you have Jose Alvarado. That's not going to stop you from taking a replacement. And that's sort of it. So you could definitely take guard here. Jeremiah Fears, man, that'd be an interesting pick right there. I think I'm going to go ahead and draft them Jeremiah Fears here at pick. I'm either between Jeremiah Fears and Kamen Malawach. I'm going to go with Fears, though, at pick number 7. I think this is where he's going to land. I think Jeremiah Fears has plenty of great workouts with the top teams. Apparently, he's been one of the best at the workouts. So I think it makes sense. He's going in the top 7. I don't think he falls past Brooklyn at 8. I'm going to have the New Orleans Pelicans draft Jeremiah Fears with pick number 7. At 8, we're going to have the Brooklyn Nets. This is going to be, for me, easily Kamen Malawach. I think that the Brooklyn Nets are for sure not going to draft 5 first-round picks in this draft. I'm assuming 1 or 2 of them are going to be moved. But Malawach, he gives them high upside at that center position. He's a great rim roller. He's a great shot blocker, rim protector, and potentially down the line, maybe he'll have a 3-point shot. I think the Nets should look to trade Nick Claxton this offseason to maybe a team like the Lakers. And Kamen Malawach would give them a solid replacement right away who probably has higher potential. At 9, we have the Toronto Raptors. Raptors, again, I don't really love this pick, but it's looking like it will be Noah Asenge from France. Asenge, really high defensive upside. Honestly, in the film I've watched the last couple of days, I've been a little bit higher than him on him. I think as of recently, he's actually skipping He's placed for Ratio Farm. He's skipping the last couple games of the playoffs to attend the NBA draft, which is interesting. But with what we've seen from in the playoff setting, he's been pretty elite. Defensively, has shown a lot of flashes offensively. I don't believe he should be a top 10 prospect, but I think you can make an argument for him in the late lottery or right outside. He should be a first-round pick, though, for sure. I think he's a great player, great defensive upside. At 10, we have the Phoenix Suns. This is going to be pretty much easily between Colin Murray-Boyles, or for me at least, it's going to be between Colin Murray-Boyles or Derek Queen. And I think I'm going to lean CMB out of South Carolina. He is, in my opinion, an NBA-ready forward who's a great defender, great playmaker from the post, and can score in the post as well. Doesn't have great size at 6'7", but he's big at 240 plus pounds. And we saw really great production from him last year at South Carolina. The Suns are looking to continue to win games right now, maximize Devin Booker's prime, and I think Colin Murray-Boyles is probably the most NBA-ready player left on the board besides maybe a Nick Clifford. At 11, we're going to have the Portland Trail Blazers. I think the Blazers, for me right here, another pretty solid, easy one. It's going to be Carter Bryant out of Arizona. Bryant wasn't able to play too much at Arizona last year, but he has great intangibles. He's a great catch and shooter. He's great at putting the ball on the floor and getting a three-point shot, and he's a great mid-range shooter as well. His size at 6'8" and his long arms are going to make him a high potential defender. And I think for the Portland Trail Blazers, after moving on from Anthony Simons, I think this is a team that can look to add maybe some more forward depth, maybe get their long-term power forward next to a Donovan Clingan. I think Carter Bryant, one of the highest potentials in this draft class. At 12, we have Chicago. For me, Chicago right here is going to be Derek Queen out of Maryland. Queen, I've seen him as low as 15. I think in ESPN's mock draft, I think Chicago is going to take the hit on potentially the upside of Derek Queen. Really high offensive upside, not the best defender. But what he could do, putting the ball on the floor at his size, such a crafty dribbler and scorer. He's a 6'10", pretty big guy. So the fact that he's able to put the ball on the floor, able to get to the rack, and if the three-point shot is there, Derek Queen can be a top 3 guy in this draft class. The Bulls potentially got a steal at 12. We'll see, though. At 13, we're going to have the Atlanta Hawks. I've seen a lot of Yegor Demon potentially to them, but I think if Kaspars Siakochonis is on the board, you have to take him at 13. Kaspars, great playmaker. I think he can play with Trae Young in some lineups because he can play without the ball. And I think this Hawks team does need to add another guard. I think next year your starting lineup is going to be Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Reese Ashe, Jalen Johnson, and Onyeka Okongwu or Kristaps Porzingis. They're trying to win right now in the Eastern Conference because we know it's going to be a weak East next year. I think they could use a backup point guard in Kaspars Siakochonis or someone who can play off the ball as well. Just to give them good scoring, good facilitating, and great size at 6'6". So Kaspars at 13 to the Hawks, that could also potentially be looked at as a steal. At 14, we have the Spurs. I haven't seen too much Rasheer Fleming in the lottery talks. I would have him top 10 if I was deciding. But Rasheer Fleming, I think 14 would be an amazing fit to the San Antonio Spurs, but I just haven't seen him, or this doesn't look like he's going to go that high. So they could look at Nick Clifford. They could look at maybe a Yegor Demon. Cedric Howard could make sense. But I'm going to have them go with a high upside big, get another French guy. It's going to be Yon Berenger out of France. Really high potential, similar to Kamen Malowich in terms he's a good shot blocker, he's a great lob threat, and he's a good rim protector as well. I think him behind Wemby for the future could be the way to go for the San Antonio Spurs. I really would love them to get Rasheer Fleming, but because this is a predictive mock draft, I predict that they're going to go with Yon Berenger at 14. At 15, we have the OKC Thunder. This is going to be Cedric Howard out of Washington State. They've been really connected to Coward out of Washington State, who's actually supposed to transfer to Duke, but he ended up committing to the draft. I think the Thunder, or there have been reports that the Thunder are going to try to package 15 and 24 to get into the top 10, which is something I would really like to see. I think a couple prospects that could target in that top 10 are maybe guys like Derek Queen, maybe Carter Bryant. Colin Murray-Boyles is a big one. Maybe they get high enough to snag a Kamen Malowich. But even if they stay at 15, Cedric Howard, an NBA-ready player, great catch-and-shoot guy, and maybe he could be a long-term replacement for guys like Isaiah Joe, like Aaron Wiggins, and maybe even Alex Caruso. I'm going to go Yegor Demon here at 16 to the Memphis Grizzlies. Playmaking hub, great size, hopefully can have a three-point shot down the line. Grizzlies, honestly, this is a guy that was top 5 at the beginning of the season for me. This could be a steal. At 17, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm going to trust their front office to make this right pick. I'm going to go Rasheer Fleming out of St. Joe's. Fleming, insane measurements, 6'9" with a 7'5" wingspan, great perimeter defender, great downhill driver, great catch and shooter, and down the line, if he's able to put the ball on the floor and create more for himself in terms of a jump shot, he's going to be a top player in this draft class. I have him at number 10 in my big board for right now. He's probably my favorite prospect in this class. At 18, we're going to have the Washington Wizards. We took Ace Bailey with the first pick. I think with the second pick, I'm looking at maybe a Asa Newell. Could also maybe like a Thomas Sorber, but to play next to Alex Sarr for the long term, I like maybe getting Asa Newell here out of Georgia. Newell, I like his size for sure at 6 foot, I think he's about 6'9", 6'10" without shoes on. He's a nice, really good lob threat, and he moves really well. He's supposed to be a center. I think he's going to be playing more forward while in the NBA, but he moves well, can put the ball on the floor. If the three-point shot is there at the NBA level, he's going to be a really positive player. At 19, we're going to have the Brooklyn Nets. I think they see Neat Clifford on the board, and I think it's going to be an absolute steal. Maybe a top 5 NBA-ready prospect in this draft class. He's a good catch-and-shoot guy, can put the ball on the floor and get to the basket. Really good rebounder for his size at 6'6", and he's going to be a really great connecting piece in the NBA. I think Jordi Fernandez would love a guy like him on the team. He's going to bring what Tyrese Martin does, who they have at that wing position already, but at a higher level and a higher ceiling. So we're going to take Nate Clifford at 19 to the Brooklyn Nets. At 20, we have the Miami Heat. Now, with Jace Richardson, I know that I'm going to take guard for them for sure. With Jace Richardson on the board, it's really tough to move past him, but apparently the Walter Clayton Miami Heat connection is just so strong right now. I don't think the Miami Heat should pass on Jace Richardson, but from what I've been hearing, Walter Clayton's going to be the pick at 20 to the Miami Heat if he is on the board. They need guard play really badly. Right now, it's Davion Mitchell, it's Tyler Hero. After that, it's basically nobody. Walter Clayton is going to be a really good catch-and-shoot guy for them right away and can create his own jump shot. We know what he was able to bring last year for Florida in terms of perimeter defense, really bought into that side of the basketball last offseason. So to the Miami Heat, he feels like a Heat player. He's an older player coming out of college. He was a good scorer out of college. And I think right away he's going to be a great backup guard and can potentially be a starting guard next to Tyler Hero going into next season. At 21, we're going to have the Utah Jazz. This is going to be Thomas Sorber for me, pretty simply. I think we'll see whether or not they move off of Walker Kessler, but even if they don't, Sorber is going to be a great production as a backup big. Good shot blocker, great touch around the rim, also has a mid-range jump shot as well. I think he's an underrated prospect right now in the draft process. I would not even be surprised if he ended maybe 13 to the Atlanta Hawks or 14 to the San Antonio Spurs, but he's going to drop to 21 for the Jazz in this scenario. At 22, we're going to have the Brooklyn Nets. I think the Nets probably do take the upside of a Jace Richardson right here. I'm going to take Richardson out of Michigan State here at 22. We drafted Malawach. We drafted Neat Clifford for them. They do need guard, and if Richardson is available at 22, it would be the smart pick. At 23, we're going to have the Pelicans. I like the idea of them adding some more shooting at that wing position. For me, that's going to be Liam McNeely out of UConn. McNeely, great shooter at 6'7". He was not the most efficient last year at UConn, but I've said it a lot. I watched every single UConn basketball game last year. Obviously, that is my team in college basketball. He started off the season efficient, looked really good. Then he got hurt in early January, but when he came back, big games against teams like Creighton. He had, 40 points? He had a really good outing against Creighton, a team that was in March Madness. And Liam McNeely shot really well in the combine. Apparently doing really well in the team pre-draft workouts. It really sucks to see him down at 23. I could even see him be a lottery guy on the NBA draft just because how he's performed as of recently. At 24, we have the OKC Thunder. We drafted Cedric Howard with that first pick. I think with the second, I'm going to go big here, and it's going to be Maxime Renaud out of Stanford. Right now, Isaiah Hartenstein has 2 years left on his contract. We're going to obviously pay this offseason Chet Holmgren an extension. I don't know if it's going to be the rookie max extension. Probably will be, but he's getting extended one way or another. So we look down in 2 years when Isaiah Hartenstein is out of his contract. After we extend guys like J-Dub and Chet Holmgren, are we going to be willing to pay and Hartenstein $20+ million per year? Probably not. For that reason, let's get a cheaper option in Maxime Renaud that could potentially replace Hartenstein down the line. At 25, we're going to have the Orlando Magic. Magic are for sure a team I could see look at shooting. I think Will Riley's upside will be enough for them to draft him at 25. He was a really solid shooter last year at Illinois, also shown the ability to put the ball on the floor, score inside, and with his size and length at 6'8", he should be potentially a positive defender in the NBA as well. The Magic are taking a shot for upside here at 25 and select Will Riley out of Illinois. At 26, the Brooklyn Nets are back. We took Kamen Malawach at 8, Neek Clifford at 19, Jace Richardson at 22. I think at 26, they could look at another guard like Nolan Traore. I know we did take Jace Richardson, but I think Jace Richardson is more of a combo guard. Traore is more of a lead guard, is great at going downhill. Not a great shooter, but that is why we drafted Jace Richardson. I think they're going to double up on guard if they stay at 26. Really good pick for the Nets there. This guy's really underrated. They do go back-to-back and have another pick at 27. Going to be Noah Penda out of France. Penda, one of the most versatile players in this draft class, needs probably more consistency on the offensive side of the basketball. He's probably going to be a catch-and-shoot guy when it comes to the league, but defensively, that's where we're going to see most of his upside. I like the pick at 27 to the Brooklyn Nets. At 28, we have the Boston Celtics. I think this is a team that I could see draft Danny Wolf because they do need some more big help. We saw them trade Kristaps Porzingis. Al Horford is getting up there. He might even, we don't even know what's going to happen with Al Horford. Luke Cornett's living in free agency. For that reason, let's get bigger. Let's get Danny Wolf. Really versatile big out of Michigan. Can shoot the ball, really good passer, good screen setter. Will be a good fit for the Celtics next year. I'd expect him to even play right away. At 29, the Phoenix Suns. We did take CMB with the 10th overall pick. This is a team that could look to add some more wing depth. Also wouldn't mind some, I guess they do have a lot of guards, but wouldn't mind maybe a true point guard here in Ben Saroff. I'm going to take a player I really like in this draft class, in Adou Thiero. He would not too much Thiero, great wing at Arkansas last year. He has a lot of great guard abilities as well, but he's 6'8". He's aggressive. He's great at going downhill. He would be a great fit for the Phoenix Suns at 29. At 30 for the Clippers, I'm going to take Ben Saroff out of Israel. He also plays for Ratio Farm with Noah Senge. Saroff, good playmaking guard. It's going to be a good backup for the Clippers right away behind James Harden. That pick at 30 does leave Drake Powell and Hugo Gonzalez on the board, which I'm not too confident in. I think there's a good chance both of them are first-round picks. But I'm going to go Ben Saroff at 30 to the LA Clippers to be a good playmaking guard. So here is the final 2025 NBA mock draft. Let's see how I do. Video tomorrow is going to be posted of my live reactions of every pick in the 2025 first round. It's probably be maybe a 30-minute video because I'm reacting to every pick live. Just going to clip it out. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Tell me what you agree with. Tell me what you disagree with. And yeah, today's the NBA draft. I'm excited.